But that'll bring us to Vinnie. Vinnie's coming up next. He actually was played quarterback for the Vukovic before I got there. He spent the last 3 years playing and coaching football in Europe. In 2011, with Vukovic, he was MVP and on the championship team. And this past year, he played in Poland, was on the playoff team as well, and is now taking his talents to France. So, Vinnie, it's all you.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that, and that was a lot of good information from both Lance and Shane. Hope you guys are, taking some notes, and it's very valuable information. I've even learned a lot from just listening in on this, and appreciate that. The great thing about all the topics that we're covering is that they all are kind of seamless and go hand in hand and work together in one way or another. Like Lance said, game day preparation actually is on Monday or Sunday, however you look at it, 48 to 60 hours ahead. So just kind of to put that in perspective, that this is all kind of, to boil it down to medium, is that to be a quarterback, it's a way of life. It's a leadership role, a way of having a certain character and demeanor in everything that you do. And I'll touch a little bit on a few things that kind of fall into the character and leadership roles. The game day situations, these are just kind of words of advice and things that you should follow. Everybody's going to have their different game day routine that they come up with. But what it boils down to is being a quarterback. A lot of these guys talked about being a leader and having the eyes on you all the time, and I'll touch a little bit on that as we go on as well. One little quote that I came up with for this presentation is that every game is different, but no matter what, one thing that never will change is the fact that you must pay your homage to the football gods every week. Practice, meetings, weight room, in your preparation. Shane and Lance did a great job explaining that. And I'm a firm believer that you win games during the practice week, and if you don't pay your homage to those football gods, they will make you pay the price on game day. And those are the only guys that know and to me kind of control the outcome of the game. And then you must go out and perform on game day. So with that being said, I'll touch into my first topic, which is sleep and rest. I started things off. You want to eliminate your sleep debt, and to me, sleep can be seen as a type of investment. You want to be putting into this tank. You want to fuel your body, replenish your body with sleep and good nutrition, and eliminate that debt. You don't want to go nights where you're out partying and clubbing, or you're distracted with your girlfriend the night before the game and you're up till 3 in the morning. You should be up preparing, or you should be studying, getting with your coaches, whatever it may be. Make time to sleep. You should be getting at least 8 hours a night, especially the 2 nights prior to that game are the most crucial for food, for rest. It's been known, I just read an article the other day, LeBron James says he's known to sleep 12 hours a day. So a lot of top athletes, Kobe Bryant, 10 hours a day, a lot of these athletes are getting an ample times of rest and sleep. Not just in the night, but even taking naps throughout the day to recover from workouts. Next, we'll go pregame meals. Some food for thought. It's recommended by a few nutritionists that I've been a part of in college that were in organizing our team training tables and meals on the road, is that we never would eat 4 hours prior to the game. We always allowed that certain 4-hour window for digestion. Pre-game meals also should not be heavy. You want them to be light. You want to stay away from the proteins and the fats and the high sugars. Usually the night before, you should be loading up on those types of things, as well as carbohydrates. During that pregame meal, a lot of things I like to look for are the complex carbohydrates, so to speak, the pastas, the rices, starchy vegetables, bread, pancakes, fruit juices, things that are kind of filling, that are going to give you those good carbohydrates that aren't going to sit too heavy on your stomach come game time. A meal of choice for me, I like to have a little bit of plain oatmeal, maybe a little bit of sugar and a banana in there to flavor, and that usually keeps me satisfied up to the game and throughout the game while not feeling so heavy. Next, that brings me to arriving to the stadium. You know, as a quarterback, these guys made it a valid point, and it's very important that all eyes are on you as a quarterback. You know, from all the coaches are watching you because, for one, they're worried because you're the leader. They know that all their players are watching you as the quarterback. So if you're that quarterback that's late to meetings, that's showing up late to practice, that's not prepared, forgets his wristband, forgets notebook and pad when he comes to the meeting, forgets certain equipment, whatever it may be, everybody's watching you, and the coaches and more so are watching you because they know the players are following you. So as a quarterback, you've got to be an excellent leader. You've got to be, on time. You've got to be saying the right things, being positive, being there in support of your players and your teammates. And not only that, the fans are watching you. Everybody in the stadium is watching the quarterback. So keep that in mind, when you're arriving to the stadium. Make sure you're on time. Make sure your bags are packed ahead of time. And the last thing you want is you don't want to be rushed. You don't want to feel rushed the morning of a game. You want to feel like you're running to the bus out of the hotel room, or if it's a home game, you're jamming out of your apartment, packing your bags, running down the stairs. Be prepared. Be prepared, and you want to stay cool. You want to stay calm on that game day. You don't want to have that high anxiety and be all amped up before the game. Rituals and superstitions. Some of these things are pretty funny. A lot of players have these. I'm not one that has them, but I've seen some crazy ones in my time. Some are funny. Guys will lay out their whole uniform across the locker room floor, wearing a significant or special T-shirt, using eye black as war paint. Going as far as us, having slap boxing matches, slapping each other across the face, trying to amp each other up for games. If that's what you do, that's what you do. The main thing is just to get in that vibe, to get in that comfort zone of yours as a player, and make sure that your focus is down the pipe, ready for the game. Locker room. This is a great time for a time to keep the hype to a minimum. You want to be focused. It's time to talk to your players, to interact with your guys, for your guys to take it all in, to kind of settle down, and as they get ready for the game and kind of go through the mental aspect of the game, to walk through plays, walk through certain tendencies, keys, audibles, adjustments, situations that you've practiced all week long. This is a good time to go through that and maybe have a conversation with your wide receiver. Hey, on this play, we might get this coverage into the boundary. Remember, when that corner comes down, this is how you want to run this route. Remind these guys of what you've worked on all week, and as far as adjustments and tendencies that you might be going after during that game. Also, it's a great time. I think we should always find a time to meet with our offensive coach, whether it be offensive coordinator, quarterback coach, or it's your head coach. But find a moment to have a good one-on-one conversation with him to discuss any of those last-minute adjustments, changes, reminders. So just to utilize that and make sure that you guys are on the same page. Like Lance said, I think he said that as a quarterback and a coach, you need to be one mind. So that that communication needs to be constant. The more you guys communicate, the more you guys bond, the more you will merge and become one. Then we go into pregame warm-ups. I'm going to go back on a time on this to being on time. As a quarterback, usually you might be at the top of the list to get out there in pregame warm-ups with the specialty guys, the long snappers, punters, kickers. You're out there to warm up on your own. Shane had a lot of good examples as far as warming up. I've done a lot of those drills he talked about. We call them gator drills, and everybody's got their own name for them, ways to warm up your feet and get your technique right. As a quarterback, this is time for you to get out there and take advantage of that time. Don't be that guy that's got his pants halfway down, doesn't have his shoulder pads all the way on, running out to the game late or pregame late. People notice this. Your players are watching. Your coaches are watching this. Be fully dressed. Like I said, have confidence during this time. You know, this is a time where also you're talking to yourself. And being a quarterback is a big mental part of this game. You know, you've got to have the mental. So in that case, you've got to practice your mental. You got to talk to yourself. You've got to envision things before they happen. You've got to make them second nature. Great quarterbacks, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, these guys have all seen the situations a million times and can almost tell you when they're going to happen before they happen. And the reason they're able to do that is because of preparation, because of the mental reps that they've taken. They've watched film hours upon hours, and like Lance said, you didn't just watch it once. They've watched it umpteen million times, multiple times a day, every day of the week up to that game. So they've seen these things happen, and that's why the game has slowed down tremendously, and we watch it on Sunday football and Monday Night Football, and when these guys do it, it looks so effortlessly and easy and slow to them. It's because they've repped it and gone through the mental practice that it takes to slow the game down. In warm-ups, throw with a purpose when you're warming up, and that goes with any time throughout the week. As a quarterback, you should always throw with a purpose. You never want to be that quarterback who's just throwing the football to throw it, just throwing it. It's like the basketball player who just shoots baskets in the gym. He's just shooting without a purpose. He's not coming off of a pick. He's not crossing over. He's not coming off of a triple threat position, making moves. As a quarterback, you got to throw with a purpose. You want to throw through the receivers, not to them. You want to hit them in certain spots on different routes. And as a quarterback, you've got to practice that. So it's a good time to throw with a purpose. 7-on-7, time to talk to your skilled guys in the huddle and remind them about key points, adjustments for the game plan. And during this time, it's also a time, Lance said, give confidence to those guys. Give them opportunities to build their confidence and become leaders themselves. Compliment those guys all the time. Show a sense of urgency. Fire those guys up. Don't let them be lackadaisical in pregame warm-ups. Often pregame warm-ups sets the tone for the game for a lot of players. So you want to stay with a sense of urgency. Make them in and out of the huddle, clap, sprint up to the line of scrimmage and get set. Make sure that they're in the right spot. And then it just kind of comes back to me it keeps coming to my head, is that all eyes are on you as a quarterback. We can't stress that enough. On the field, off the field, pregame warm-ups, all the coaches are watching you. The players are lined up. Everybody's watching you. They're seeing what kind of swagger you have. Your swagger, your confidence will set the tone in everything that you do. And that brings me to in the huddle, which is a huge opportunity to take advantage of this as a leader with all the eyes on you. As a quarterback, you're the leader. You're the one calling the shots. You're the coach on the field. You're in command. You control the huddle. Discipline in the huddle, it often rolls over into discipline on the field. If you execute a huddle where that's organized, nobody's talking, everybody gets a good break, sprints out to the line of scrimmage and gets set, chances of you getting a false start or jumping off the sides or a legal formation is slim. Everybody's focused. Everybody's ready to execute. So as a quarterback, you got to take advantage of that time to be disciplined and get your point across and run a strict huddle. With that being said, I like to relay and delegate a lot of my responsibility in the huddle to my center. To me, the center is my second in command. He's my co-pilot. He's my partner in crime. He calls a lot of the fronts up front, calls the Mike linebackers, adjusts his protections. He's a guy that I'm talking to when a team's showing a blitz or showing certain tendencies, or if I'm talking about a certain protection, I'm usually not really talking to that specific lineman. I'll usually go to my center first in command and let him relay it, just so that conversation piece gets spread and dispersed throughout the line rather than a conversation with just me and the tackle. I want all my line to hear it, so usually I go through the center. Also, a duty that I delegate to my center is setting the huddle. Oftentimes, as a quarterback, you're working with personnel changes. You're trying to get that play in with the coach. He might want to have a short, quick conversation with you, so you don't have time to really set that huddle. So I like to delegate that to my center. His job, I stay on him constantly throughout practice. Every day in practice, I'm on him. So in the game, I don't really have to rely on reminding him. His job after every play is to find that ball, identify that head referee that's spotting that ball, mark the ball, set the huddle. By the time I get to the huddle, it should be perfectly dressed, perfectly formation, been said before I enter, and he's in charge of managing that. By the time I get to that center, it's quiet, and they're ready to go listening to the play. What are we at here? So the quarterback's got a lot on his plate within that 25-second play clock. So relying on your center is key. Utilize that. And you can't just come at him in pregame. It's something that's got to be religiously practiced, like anything else. So work on that during practice, as far as utilizing your to control and take charge of that huddle for you. And then we come to calling a play in the huddle. When you call the play in the huddle, you've got to be loud. You've got to have a certain demeanor in your voice, a clear, solid communication, a sense of confidence, so to speak. The players are not only listening to the play and their assignment, but they'll also identify your confidence, and they'll pick up on your nonverbal communication. So it's important to make eye contact with you when you speak to them and not to stutter. If you're unsure of a play, they're going to know just by the tone of your voice. You carry yourself, by the way you call that play. So that kind of goes back on the preparation that Lance and Shane talked about. Know your playbook. Know the ins and outs of that offense. You have to know every single play that comes in that's called. You need to know it. You need to be able to explain it, execute it, answer any questions with confidence. If you don't have you're sending your players out of that huddle to line up for a play, and they're not going to have the confidence, you're asking for disaster. So as a QB, you got to know the back of that playbook by hand, as well as the pronunciation and how to get out some of those long-winded plays. I know it sounds kind of cliche as a quarterback, know your playbook, know your playbook, know your playbook, but you got to know your playbook. There's no other way to put it out there. For example, if you got plays, I've had plays that are as long as trips right, 255, X block, slant, H disco, alert, 12 trap, check alert, Brown Richmond, 654 Jose, or that's one play, actually two plays, but you've got to be able to spit that out and know exactly what it is in a timely manner and a clear piece of conversation that those guys, they've got it, they break that huddle, they sprint out of that line, and they're ready to go battle and execute. So it's as cliche as it is know your playbook and have that confidence in the huddle. That's a time for execution. That's a time that the guys are really, really focused on you. In conclusion, it comes down to there's a lot to being a quarterback. Kid's dream in America or worldwide now, they watch football, what position they want to be. They want to be the quarterback. And what you'll learn is that everyone can try to play quarterback, but in the end, not everyone can be the quarterback. As you can see, it takes a special individual, a unique individual, an individual that strives on perfection, maybe even has a slight diagnosis of obsessive compulsive disorder, commonly known as OCD. Quarterbacks are unique. Quarterbacks are different. I've seen a lot of us don't act a certain way like a wide receiver or a running back might be. We're unique. We're different. So having those common traits and those things with leadership and that we talked about, something that comes with the position. Also, you got to have a short memory. I know Lance talked about on throwing an interception. You throw an interception and it plays over. You've got to move forward. You've got to have a short memory. You've got to have ice water in your veins. You've got to be cool, calm, collect all the time. And that goes with those players watching you. They see that you're rattled. They're not going to have the confidence in you. So, and then the ability to lead, not only vocally, but by example, leading by example at all times. And control your negative emotion. You don't want to get on players. You don't want to show emotion off of a mistake. Get over that. Move on to the next play. And that kind of sums it up for me as being game day. Like I said, a lot of guys will have their own little routines, but that's the key, is to have a routine. To have a routine that you follow through every week and follow through all the way up into the game. Find your own routine, whatever works for you. But just make sure in the end that you're doing the right things. You're saying the right things. You're on time. You're carrying yourself as a professional. That's what we are as quarterbacks. And I wish you guys all the best in the world, and thanks for dropping in on our quarterback conversation. And hopefully you guys got a lot of good information out of it. I know the quarterbacks, Lance and Shane, I thank you guys for your information, and I've even learned a lot out of it. And hopefully you can say the same for us and for everybody else who's listening in. And thanks for dropping by.
Yep. Yeah, thank you all for coming in. I appreciate it. Just like Vinnie said, and we some of each person has some great things to say. At the end of the day, you don't have time to think in the game. All that happens preparation before. You do the thinking during the week so that it's revision in the game. And like Vinnie said, you got to be patient with the people around you. There's a reason why you're playing quarterback and they're not. Usually you're the better athlete, the smarter person, the person who knows football the best. So be patient with the people around you. We all agree that the level of play each year that we've been in Europe is improving, and that's a testament to the effort that each one of you put into the game. So we just want to applaud you on that, and also encourage you to get better. Keep checking out touchdowneurope.net, weekly. Share the word. We're going to be doing things like this in the future. And there's a lot of great information, on this website to help you, reach your goals as a player and also to further the game of football in Europe and around the world. So we appreciate your time coming, and we'll see you next time.